Krishna. Welcome you all to 108 Bhagavad-gita Shloka session. Today is our first day, and before we begin, let's chant a small prayer. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much for joining with us. Since it's our first session, I would like to tell what all we are going to cover today. Many of those things will be only for the first time today. We are not going to repeat that in the sessions we conduct later on. So this will be why memorize a shloka, what is the importance of it, and how to memorize the shloka, the techniques to do that, and what are the different things that we can memorize about a shloka. Some of you might be interested in only memorizing the shloka, the Sanskrit of it. And some of you might be eager to also memorize the shloka number, which chapter it is, what is the shloka number. That's also very, very helpful. And some of you may go further ahead to learn the word meanings of the Sanskrit verse. And some of you may also be interested to know the entire meaning of the verse. And then at the end, you might be also eager to know how is this shloka very helpful, relevant in our practical day-to-day life in our devotional service. So these are 5 levels of knowing a shloka. And whether you're interested in 11.1, whether you're interested in all the levels, it's up to you, but I encourage you to be during the entire session and take complete benefit of it. No pressure, don't take too much of stress. Oh, I have to memorize so much. No, take as much as you can. That's my suggestion. So let's start. I'll share my screen with you of the presentation. So here we are, Bhagavad-gita 108, Learn and Memorize Shloka session. Why memorize a verse? Very important. Why should I be interested in knowing a verse, memorizing a verse? There are many reasons for that. First, the reason is, when we read something, yes, it helps us. We do it attentively. But when we memorize something, we have to do it with more attention. We have to deliberately concentrate. If you don't do that, we are not able to memorize it. So it helps us to be much more attentive, much more attentive. Now we are reading it with a different approach, and it helps the content to seek in more. That's the first point. The second point is, when we have memorized these verses, like I told in the last session, then you have some very beautiful content which can be presented in the form of prayers to the Supreme Lord. Yes, the language of love has no bounds and it's not limited by anything. If we have feelings and devotion towards Krishna, we can express it in any way in our own words, but it's very nice to express them using the words which have been used by the great Vaishnavas of the past. So when we know these shlokas, we can use them in the form of prayers. We can use them to glorify the Supreme Lord. That's another beautiful advantage of it. And the third thing, which is also very, very important, when we know these shlokas, we can always remember them. We can always try to recall them. And in this way, we can increase our remembrance of Krishna. The thoughts about Krishna can come very spontaneously if you know a shloka. Like for example, there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which says that Krishna is so merciful that who will not take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna? And that shloka goes like this: Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam. I won't say the entire shloka. Later on, you can check it out yourself. So in this shloka, it's being said that this Supreme Lord is so kind and merciful that when Putana, the sister of Bakasur, came to kill him by feeding him poison which was smeared on her breast, Krishna was so kind that Krishna accepted her as his mother. And then why should not anyone take shelter of Krishna? Krishna is so kind. So in this way, we can always think of Krishna. If you know the shlokas, it will help us. And another point, which is very important, if you want to present the teachings to others or Bhagavad Gita, when you want to convince others, it helps you to know the verse better. If I have memorized it, oh, it becomes so easy to understand the verse. So much easy. And you will have practical realization of that when we do this course. And the last thing is, yes, I can present the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, the teachings of Lord Krishna given in Bhagavad Gita, in a way that it is very relevant for people, in a way that it's very, very easily understandable, and they can actually take some benefit out of it. Not that you are speaking in a way that, oh, this was fine 5,000 years ago, but it's no longer applicable now. My problems cannot be solved by this solution. No, you can give very good counseling, very good suggestions, very good help, very good advice, and very good teachings based on this eternal knowledge given by Lord Krishna. These are just few points. There can be many more points why memorizing a verse is very, very helpful. So now let's go to the steps. What steps we should take or we should practice so that we can learn the shloka nicely, right? So these steps are very important. Let's quickly go through it. When we do a practical exercise of it, you'll understand it better. So first thing is just read the verse. That's all. Don't try to memorize it. Just read it. Try to have hold over the words, try to pronounce it nicely, slowly, in a very mindful way. Try to allow that verse to enter your mind, first thing. Then you memorize it. And how do you memorize it? You memorize it bit by bit. Okay, you don't memorize it all together. You do it bit by bit, in pieces, and just little at a time. We'll be doing that. Just few things, whatever is easily possible, you memorize little at a time, and then you write it down. Very, very important. All of you, I'm sure, you have studied sometime in your life, in a school or in college, or now also you might be studying. So you must have experienced, if we write down something, it becomes so easy to memorize. It's so easy to memorize if you write down something. So easy to memorize. So write it down. You want to memorize a verse? Write it down in a notepad. It will be very helpful. And then what you remember, you write. You will not remember everything. Let's say we try to memorize a verse. We may remember just few words, not everything. So don't worry. What you remember, you write, and what you don't remember, you flip the pages of the book, and then you see which is the next word which I don't remember. Just look, have a glance, and then fill in that word. Fill in that word. Okay. You may find one word, you fill it there, and then it may come to you, I know the second word. So then from your memory, recall and write the next word. Then you fill in the blank, and then you continue like that, and you complete the shloka. When we do it once, twice, thrice, I'm sure the shloka will be in our head. Then we have to recall it. We don't recall it, we forget it. Sharing from my personal experience, there was a time when I had memorized the entire first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the entire second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, so many verses from third chapter, fourth chapter, 12th chapter, and so on. But because I did not practice it, I forgot many of them. So we'll have to recall. And recalling is not so difficult. I heard it from others, and I would like to share that. You can recall it while doing very simple things in your life, which you do on a daily basis, like while you are taking your shower, while you are walking from one place to another place, while you are doing some daily chores, you can try to recall them. It will always stay in memory, fresh, ever fresh. Okay, so today we are going to do the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. It's a very popular verse, and I'm sure some of you might be already knowing it, but we will be doing it because many might not be knowing it. And the technique which we are going to share today, it's really interesting. It will give you another, it will open another dimension of understanding this shloka, even if you know this shloka. So this shloka is very simple. As I said, we just read the verse first. I am going to read it. Please stay on mute and hear. So it goes like this. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamakaha pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. This is the Sanskrit. Now let's read the meaning of it. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kuru-kshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? That's the translation. Okay. Now we will try to do the memorizing exercise. This is the verse that we need to memorize. We have read it. We have read the translation also. We will be memorizing it little at a time, repeating it over and again. So what we'll do is each line, there are 5 lines here. We are going to chant that 3 times each. Then we'll make a group of 2 and then chant that 3 times. And at the end, we'll chant the entire verse 3 times. Again, as I said before, it's my request. When I chant, you chant it on your end also, but please be on mute. You can chant after me. I'll give that pause so that you can chant. So the first line, let's chant that. Dhritarashtra uvacha. Dhritarashtra uvacha. Dhritarashtra uvacha. Next line. Dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre. Dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre. Dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre.
Kuru-kshetre.
Next line. Samaveta yuyutsavaha.
Samaveta yuyutsavaha.
Samaveta yuyutsavaha.
Samaveta yuyutsavaha.
Samaveta yuyutsavaha.
Samaveta
Next.
yuyutsavaha.
Mamaka pandavaschaiva.
Mamaka pandavaschaiva.
Mamaka pandavaschaiva.
Mamaka pandavaschaiva.
Mamaka pandavaschaiva.
Mamaka pandavaschaiva.
Next. Kim akurvata sanjaya.
King kurvata
Kim
sanjaya.
akurvata sanjaya.
King kurvata sanjaya.
Kim akurvata sanjaya.
King akurvata
Very good.
sanjaya.
Now let's do 2 lines together. Dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha. Dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha. Dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha. Let's go to the next 2. Mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. Mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. Mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. Okay, thank you. Now let's do all of them together 3 times. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. Thank you. So we did a basic run through. It doesn't mean now we know the shloka. Yeah, some of you might be so special and so sharp that you might have memorized it by now if you did not know it earlier. But for most of us, it's not that easy. By chanting 3 times, you don't memorize it. but it will come by practice. This is just the beginning. Now, what we're going to do next is very, very interesting. It just really opens the shloka for you. It makes it so easy to understand the shloka. Even if you don't know Sanskrit, it will just make it so simple. And most of you are from India, so you have Hindi as your language, or Marathi or Gujarati, and for you it will be quite simple. Even those who are not from India and they speak some other language, let's say English or whatever, some other language, for them also it will become quite easier if they follow this step. And what is that? We look at the word meanings. Now we know the shloka. Now we look at the word meaning of every single word which is there in the shloka. And Srila Prabhupada has very beautifully presented in his almost all the books he has done that. So let's look at the word meaning. Please, we are not going to recite it now, so don't unmute yourself and speak up now. So first, let's look at the first line, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Two words, Dhritarashtra and Uvacha. What do they mean? So Dhritarashtra is a name. Is the name of whom? Is the name of a king. King Dhritarashtra. Uvacha means said. Uvacha always means said. So anytime anyone is going to speak in Bhagavad Gita, you will have the name of that person and the word Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Arjuna Uvacha, Sanjaya Uvacha. Likewise, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. So Dhritarashtra said, King Dhritarashtra said. Now let's look at these two words. First is dharma-kshetre. Dharma-kshetre. Kshetre means land or a place. So dharma-kshetre means in the land of dharma or in the place of pilgrimage. Someone will ask, oh, okay, there is a place of pilgrimage. Does that place have a name? Yes, it has a name, and the name is Kuru-kshetre. So dharma-kshetre, Kuru-kshetre. In a place of dharma, in a place of pilgrimage, the name of which is Kuru-kshetra. So in the place of pilgrimage named Kuru-kshetra, what happened? Question comes, what happened? So in the next line that is being spoken, Samaveta, Dhritarashtra is saying Samaveta. Some people have assembled, they have come together. Samaveta means assemble, come together. Like if you have been to ISKCON, at the end of any Aratik ceremony, there is a chant, very loud chant, and it said, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Samavet means assemble, all those who have come together. So Samaveta, oh, they came together. Why did they come together? So Dhritarashtra said, desiring to fight. Yuyutsavaha, they came together desiring to fight. So this line means, in the place of pilgrimage named Kuru-kshetra, some people came together to fight. Question, who are those people? That's being spoken in the third line. Mamakaha, Dhritarashtra is saying, my sons have come. Oh, your sons have come. Is there anyone else also? Yes. Pandavas, the sons of Pandu. My brother Pandu, younger brother of Dhritarashtra was called Pandu. So my sons and the sons of my younger brother Pandu, they have come. Cha eva. Cha eva means certainly and certainly. So this line means, my sons and certainly the sons of Pandu, they have come together to fight. Now, then Dhritarashtra poses a question. To whom? To Sanjaya. And what is that question? Kim means what? Kim, what? Akurvata, did they do? What did they do? O Sanjaya. So this line means, what did they do, O Sanjaya? Now, if you know these meanings, it's so simple to know the meaning of the entire verse, right? What's the meaning? In my own words, it can be spoken like this. King Dhritarashtra said, in the place of pilgrimage named Kuru-kshetra, my sons and certainly the sons of Pandu assembled desiring to fight. So what did they do, O Sanjaya? It goes like that. Now you must have noticed that the words are put, not really in the order in which we speak in English. That's how Sanskrit is a little different from English. In English, the words are put in a different order. In Sanskrit, it might be put in a different order. So once we know a little bit Sanskrit, it becomes easy to translate from one to another. Okay, so now what is the meaning of this verse? Very simple. Dhritarashtra said, oh Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kuru-kshetra, desiring to fight. What did they do? So simple. So we do the exercise now. Yes, this is the moment where you can speak up, yes, but please don't speak all together. We want you to do it individually, and that's why you raise your hand. If you're interested in giving the answer, please raise your hand and then you speak, okay? I'll call out your name, whoever raises the hand. I am sure you know how to raise the hand in Zoom. There's a special button there down somewhere. Yes, Pragati Mataji is showing that. So you have the hand raised. Very good. So now you look at the screen, Dhritarashtra, there is a blank there. So can anyone help us know what is the word that's to come there? Pragati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, 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 please go ahead.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my daughter would like to answer.
Yeah, quick, quick.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dhritarashtra Uvacha.
Very good, thank you. Okay, let's go to another person now. What is the second blank that has to be, that is empty and the word should be there? Saurav.
Hare Krishna. Dharma-kshetre, kuru-kshetre.
Very good, thank you. Then the next third, Samaveta, who will speak? Prerna.
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha.
Very good. Okay, third line, Mamakaha, Sundari Rukmani Mataji.
Pandavaha Saiva. Pandavaha.
Very good, thank you. And the last line, Kim. So, Shivam, Kim, dash. Kim, I could not hear you. Okay, it seems your network is not so clear.
Akurvata.
Thank you, Madan Mohini Mataji. Akurvata, very good. Okay, you all did wonderful. Now let's go to the next one. It's a bit tough. Some words are missing now. Some more words are missing now. So iPhone, I don't know your name. I'm sorry, you are coming here as iPhone. What is the first word?
Dhritarashtra Uvacha.
Thank you, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Okay, next, dharma-kshetre, Santoshi. What is the word after dharma-kshetre?
Dharma-kshetre, kuru-kshetre.
Thank you.
Samaveta
Then, no,
Yuyutsavaha.
not the entire verse, please. Give a chance to someone else also. And keep yourself on mute. Madhurya Leela. What is the next word?
Mamaka Pandavaschaiva.
Okay, Pandavashaiva, thank you. Then we have, okay, Pragati Mataji again. Someone, okay, Vinodini Pillai Mataji. What is the last line? Thank you so much. So this verse is like a piece of cake. It's very simple and you are doing all wonderful. Now the last thing, none is there. We can't see any word. So who would like to try this entire verse? Okay, Jayada Lakshmi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
I will
Pranam.
try as you explain. Dharma-kshetre, kuru-kshetre. Sorry, I should start from first.
Yeah.
Dhritarashtra Vacha, Dharma-kshetre, kuru-kshetre, Samaveta Yuyutsava, Mamaka Pandavaschaiva, Kim Akurvarta Sanjaya.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Hari Bol. So now you all know this verse. So the verse is Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. And the meaning goes like this. Dhritarashtra said, in the place of pilgrimage named Kuru-kshetra, my sons and the sons of Pandu have assembled, desiring to fight. What did they do, O Sanjaya? Right? Now you see, the beauty is if you know the word meanings, you don't have to memorize the exact translation. You can make up your own translation. It will be quite accurate. Just the words will be here and there. So now let's very small lesson that we can get from this verse, and it's very, very important. There are two keywords. You can use these two keywords to remember this verse. What does this verse talk about? There are many things that this verse talks about, but two practical things. One is fear and the other is false hope. So what do I want to say about fear and false hope? Basically, Dhritarashtra, he was blind from childhood, and he had a strong desire to become the king. But because of his disability, he could not become the king. His younger brother became the king. But the desire to be the king was so strong in his heart that he thought, if I did not become the king, no problem, let my sons become the king. So he was very, very adamant that the fight should happen, the battle should happen. So in this shloka, you can see Dhritarashtra is telling to his secretary Sanjaya, my sons and Pandava's sons have come, Pandu's sons have come together to fight. And then he's asking, what did they do? So the Vaishnava acharyas explain the mind of Dhritarashtra. They say Dhritarashtra is so scared, so afraid. Will they compromise? Will they go through some negotiation? Will the heart of my sons change and they'll say, oh, dear brothers of ours, you be the king, we don't want the kingdom. He was very afraid. And why was he afraid? That's a big topic, but he was afraid. There was fear in his heart. Why fear? Because there was a desire which he wanted to become fulfilled, and he had the fear this desire will not become fulfilled. We also have fear in life of many things. Always because we have some desires and we fear that desire will not get fulfilled. But along with that fear, because of the material illusion energy of the Lord, comes another quality which is quite opposite, and that is false hope. Dhritarashtra, though he was afraid, he had a false hope. Perhaps this won't happen. Perhaps my son's mind will not change. Perhaps the Pandavas, they'll not fight and they'll just tell my sons, you be the king, we don't want to fight because it's a very sacred place, we have changed our mind. Perhaps I'll sit on the throne, perhaps. So there is fear and there is false hope. There are these two mixed emotions. And whenever we have any desire, which is material, which is to take us away from God or Krishna, we'll always experience these two emotions. We will have fear in our heart and we'll have false hope that perhaps it will come true against all odds, perhaps. And this is very, very, actually, very, very depressing. This is very, very frustrating. It makes the soul sick. And Dhritarashtra is going through that sickness. And Sanjaya, being a very expert secretary, being a long time servant of Dhritarashtra, knows, understand, this is what Dhritarashtra is going on. So he'll answer it in that way, but that's not the subject today. So this is the quick lesson from this particular verse. The keywords are fear and false hope. Now, before we end this session, I'm just going to share with you that after the session gets over, you'll get two things in the WhatsApp group. One is, I'll be sending you an audio recitation of the verse in different melodies and tempos and pitch. So it will be very helpful to memorize it. And then I'll be sharing these cards with you, which will help you to memorize the shloka. The first card is the shloka card. It has the shloka number. We have a long way to go. We are starting with the first today, but we have to do 108. And I take your promise that we won't leave the course because it's getting tough. You'll stay on board, 108 shlokas. Today we are doing 1.1, chapter 1, verse 1. And since it's the shloka card, we have the S mark here. We have the shloka, you can see, and we have the keywords and the themes. Then the next card is the word meaning card. W marks word meaning card, and you have the word meanings. Then the third is the meaning card, and the fourth is the revision card for your practice. So you'll get all these cards for all the shlokas so that you can memorize these shlokas easily. And actually it will be fun for you. So the last, go. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma-kshetre kuru-kshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamakaha pandavashaiva kim akurvata Sanjaya. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I won't take extra time today because the Hindi session is going to start in 2 minutes. But next time onwards, we'll have some extra minutes because of so many slides which will not be touching. So we'll do some practice also. And all of you will get chance to recite and learn. Thank you all very much. See you on Wednesday, second shloka. Hare Krishna.